What I'm going to do is I'm going to point to you, and when I point like this, all of you are going to say, you might be hanging on by your fingernails if, and then I'm going to fill in the blanks. Are you ready? Okay, 1, 2, don't forget now, every time I point to you, 1, 2, 3. You have gained 20 pounds and lost your 20/20 vision. Your idea of a sexy car, ladies, is a minivan with a flip-down television screen. Your boss asks you to do something in your spare time. Now, I recall a morning when my children were small that will live in infamy in our family's history books. We had just moved into a house in a nicer neighborhood. And now, can I talk about my husband? See, he's hours away in Shreveport, but none of you better tell him. Well, he's a banker, ladies and gentlemen. And I had finally convinced him we needed a bigger house, and when we moved into this nice new neighborhood with our minivan with the peeling paint on the side, I informed him I really didn't think that minivan went very well in this nice neighborhood. And he, of course, as a banker, informed me that we were going to pay a few house notes before we bought a new car. And so on this particular morning, we've only been in the house a couple days, and it's the first school morning. And I want you to get a picture of my house. It does not look like the Leave It to Beaver scene at all. These kids are running around, they're screaming about stuff, and my youngest one is screaming at me, I want you to French braid my hair. I have got moving boxes and everything piled. I don't have time to French braid hair on this particular morning. They're already late, complicated by the fact I have no idea of how to French braid hair. And so I turned to my husband, I said, would you please get these kids off to school before they're late? And I'm peeking through the blinds. Well, now, our driveway at this house, it was slanted, and the minivan was out there, and I watch everybody get in, and I'm, kind of worried about this one that's still screaming, she won't French braid my hair. And I'm watching as he's backing down the driveway, and all of a sudden the van comes to a sudden stop. The driver's side door opens, my husband gets out, his tie is going back and forth, and he is not happy, ladies. He has got a scowl on his face. The front door opens. My oldest daughter, the calm one, runs around the front of the car, and she's just shaking her head. And behind her follows the little one. She won't French braid my hair. At which point, the older, calm one turns around and goes, now, Maggie, do you really think she's going to French braid your hair after you just took the door off the van? I turned to my husband. He said, that's exactly right. I said, what do you mean that's right? He said, well, you know how that driveway's on the slant? She was screaming. I saw her get up. I saw her reach for that door handle. I slammed on the brakes. The door went flying back, and it is sitting on the driveway. Now, let's have true confession time. Have any of you all ever felt like the doors were coming off of your life? When you experience all those unbelievable events that we could never make up, that we actually go through every day, to whom do you turn? Probably another woman. Well, do you know that is now proven to be a physically healing process? A landmark UCLA study suggests that women who respond to stress, or they do respond to stress with a cascade of brain chemicals. Now, I know you men are saying, I know what those chemicals are, right? But they cause us to make and maintain friendships with other women. And when this hormone, and men, don't go there. You know about the hormones too. But when this hormone is released as part of the stress response, it encourages us to gather with other women. And as we gather with other women, the study further shows that even more of this chemical is released, which further counters the stress and actually produces a calming effect. Well, this most recent study proposes that the difference in the way that women and men respond to stress may actually reduce our risk of disease by lowering our blood pressure, our heart rate, and our cholesterol. So, gentlemen, here's the message. The next time the woman in your life is on the phone and you go up to her and tell her it's about time she got off, she's going to say, forget it, I'm lengthening my life. Okay? Because that is so important. But the scary thing is, ladies, in our overly busy, hanging on by our fingernails life, what do we tend to neglect the most? Our friendships with other women. We need to make time for this as we celebrate each other's victories, and certainly when we cry with each other over the pains that certainly will come in life. Now, how many of you would agree with me that it's not the big things, it's all those little things every day that drive us all crazy? And this is for men and women, isn't that true? You know, maybe it's for you ladies driving kids to soccer practice after an unexpected phone call that causes you to be late, or having to run by Sam's or Walmart to buy diapers for your mother who is in the nursing home, or a call from a child to drop off that homework assignment that they left at home. Well, the question is this: are you being nibbled to death by stress? You know, it's not that one big problem that drives us over the edge, but all the little things that we do have to handle during the day. And according to a study by Rockefeller University, non-stop minor stress can actually have a more serious impact on our mental and physical health than a single stressful event of more major significance. If you saw your child or your grandchild running toward a busy street, or if you were in an elevator and it suddenly went into free fall, your body is going to mobilize its resources and it's going to act and recover. But when we experience that little constant nibbling of stressors, our body actually drains down its reserves without an ability to recoup the losses. And if that daily stress doesn't stop, our overload, now listen up for this, can weaken our immunity, can strain our heart, can affect our memory, can cause depression, anxiety, and yes, can even cause weight gain. Now that about covers all my symptoms. How about yours? Well, given all this, isn't it bizarre that we seem to be in some kind of competition to see who is the most busy and who is the most stressed? You know that friend that I mentioned earlier? Don't you know that right in the middle of her telling you about what a nightmare day she's had, what are you going to say? Girl, you have no idea. That's nothing as bad as my day. Now, how many of you would agree with me that it's not the big things, it's all those little things every day that drive us all crazy? And this is for men and women, isn't that true? You know, maybe it's for you ladies driving kids to soccer practice after an unexpected phone call that causes you to be late, or having to run by Sam's or Walmart to buy diapers for your mother who is in the nursing home, or a call from a child to drop off that homework assignment that they left at home. Well, the question is this: are you being nibbled to death by stress? You know, it's not that one big problem that drives us over the edge, but all the little things that we do have to handle during the day. And according to a study by Rockefeller University, non-stop minor stress can actually have a more serious impact on our mental and physical health than a single stressful event of more major significance. All of us need to kind of change this, so I'm going to ask you to repeat after me, okay? So whatever I say, you have to say it. I promise it's all clean, okay? I'm sorry, I can't chair that committee. I'm so sorry, I can't watch your kids this weekend. Little darling. I'm so sorry, I can't join your club. I am just too darn busy. Well, you know, we are all too busy, but you know what else? As women, we don't do enough for ourselves. Right now, I want you to turn to the person next to you, and in 1 minute or less, I want you to tell them the last thing that you did for you. Okay? You got 1 minute. Go. If you couldn't just now tell the person next to you something that you do just for you, I really challenge you, go home and figure out what is that going to be. Down for our chorus up here. Woo-hoo! Thank you so very much. Go out there and be healthy women and enjoy your life. Thank you.